What if Earth's magnetic field suddenly disappeared? This isn't just a hypothetical question, it's a scenario that could plunge our planet into chaos. Right now, as you watch this video, the magnetic field is quietly whirling around us, protecting us from the sun's relentless barrage of solar particles and cosmic radiation. But what if that crucial shield vanished without warning? You might be wondering, how would it affect life as we know it? What unseen forces would be unleashed? Stay with me, and we'll unravel this mystery together. To understand the implications of a sudden disappearance of the magnetic field, we first need to grasp its purpose. Picture Earth as a great cosmic defender, with its magnetic field acting like an invisible suit of armor. It protects us from damaging solar wind, a stream of charged particles emitted by the sun. Without this shield, Earth becomes vulnerable. Think of a medieval fortress with all its walls crumbling. What happens next? Let's explore. Right off the bat, the sun would start to pummel us with high-energy radiation. You might be surprised to learn that our magnetic field not only deflects this radiation but also supports the ionosphere, a layer of our atmosphere crucial for radio communication and GPS. Imagine suddenly losing cell service and getting lost in an unfamiliar area. We'd lose a vital connection to the world around us. How disorienting would that be? As we delve deeper, it gets even more intriguing. You may not realize that the magnetic field also plays a role in maintaining our atmosphere. The charged particles from the solar wind interact with the magnetic field, but if this shield were to disappear, those solar particles would strip away the very gases that protect us. In this scenario, over time, our atmosphere could thin out. Imagine a world with a barely there atmosphere. What would happen to our oceans, our weather systems, and ultimately, our climate? It's a heavy thought, isn't it? But that's not all. As the magnetic field diminishes, increased radiation levels would pose a dire threat to living organisms. You might think that Earth's diverse species would persevere, but the reality is many could face extinction. Think about it, species are finely tuned to their environments. If they suddenly find themselves bombarded by radiation levels they've never experienced before, many wouldn't be able to adapt quickly enough. Moreover, plant life, the bedrock of our ecosystems, would struggle as well. Did you know that plants rely on precise sunlight patterns for photosynthesis? The increased radiation could disrupt these patterns and effectively stunt their growth. Can you picture entire forests wilting under the harsh glow of an unfiltered sun? And here's an emotional twist for you. This means humans would also face significant challenges. The psychological effects of prolonged high radiation exposure are astonishing. Imagine living with a heightened sense of anxiety and uncertainty, constantly aware that your environment is becoming less hospitable. Do you ever think about the tranquility of nature? Picture that slowly fading away. Now, let's shift our gaze to the skies, where our satellites are crucial to modern life. What would happen to our technology? Satellites could be severely compromised. You might be wondering how this would affect you personally. Well, think about the ramifications. Global communications could be disrupted, weather forecasting would become less reliable, and military operations could face setbacks. In a world so dependent on technology, this scenario is nothing short of catastrophic. As the situation unfolds, the increase in radiation levels would lead to a spike in health issues, including cancers. You may be surprised to hear that even short-term exposure to heightened UV radiation can lead to immediate health problems. Imagine taking a leisurely stroll outside, only to discover that the sun's rays have become perilous. The outdoor comfort we take for granted would be replaced by a relentless assault. But wait, there are even more astounding consequences awaiting us. As the magnetic field dissipates, Earth's poles would begin to experience magnetic pole reversal. You might have heard about this phenomenon before. It's when the magnetic north and south switch places. This isn't just a quirky geological event, it could have far-reaching effects on migratory animals that rely on the Earth's magnetic field for navigation. Animals like birds and sea turtles could find themselves sailing off course, leading to tragic consequences for entire populations. What would the world look like if our natural wonders began to unravel? Not to mention the fact that the auroras, those stunning natural light displays we associate with polar regions, would change unpredictably. Instead of gentle waves of green and pink light, we could witness tumultuous and chaotic displays as the solar wind directly interacts with the atmosphere. Would your appreciation for these breathtaking sights be overshadowed by fear? Or would it spark a sense of wonder about the untamed power of nature? This scenario may feel overwhelmingly catastrophic, but let's take a pause and reflect. The thought of facing intense changes, battling the odds, and witnessing environmental shifts can spark both fear and curiosity. How would humanity adapt? Would we come together in the face of adversity? As we ponder these questions, consider the resilience of species throughout history. There have been mass extinctions before, and life has found a way to rebound time and again. Perhaps this challenge could serve as a catalyst for innovation in ways we can't yet fathom. It's a delicate balance between despair and hope, and that's where the beauty lies. Speaking of resilience, let's dive deeper into the question of human adaptability. What if we could harness technology to shield ourselves from the intensifying radiation? Scientists are already at work on protective gear and innovative habitats. Futuristic buildings with radiation-blocking materials could become commonplace. But could these innovations truly protect us, or would they just buy us some time? What happens when nature's forces become too powerful to mitigate? To put things into perspective, let's explore the profound implications for our civilization. The disappearance of Earth's magnetic field would create a seismic shift in how we view ourselves in relation to our planet. It raises questions about our stewardship of Earth. How do we navigate an environment that puts our very existence at risk? We've often touted our technological advances, but would they be enough? You might be wondering what practical steps could be taken in the face of such an apocalypse. While many of us instinctively focus on individual survival strategies, there's something much bigger at play. Collaborative efforts in science and policy need to ramp up. Would our world leaders rise to the occasion and prioritize environmental stability? As we chart this perilous course, let's also consider the emotional texture of humanity amid crisis. How would individuals cope? Communities could band together to foster collective resilience. This brings to mind the question, how would our values change in a world under existential threat? Would empathy and collaboration flourish, or would fear drive a wedge between us? As these scenarios play out, the human spirit will undoubtedly be tested. You might be surprised to hear that in times of crisis, communities often come together in remarkable ways. Throughout history, during wars and disasters, people have banded together to form connections, altruism rising from the ashes. This potential for social unity might spark innovative solutions and renewed appreciation for our interconnectedness. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Before we draw conclusions, let's look one more time at the immediate physical changes that our planet would experience. Volunteers of nature like weather patterns would be thrown into disarray. Try to picture the storms of tomorrow. With no magnetic field to guide the flow of particles, would we witness hurricanes of unprecedented strength, or perhaps new weather phenomena that defy classification? Each forecast would become a nerve-wracking gamble in unpredictability. So where does this leave us? Are we headed for total destruction, or could we carve a path toward resilience and reinvention? What lies beyond the impending storm? We've explored how a sudden disappearance of the magnetic field would bring stark changes not only to our physical environment but to our consciousness as a species. With all this compelling information in mind, it's time to take a breath. The next step in our journey will uncover the surprising ways we could adapt, innovate, and ultimately transform in response to these monumental shifts. To be continued. As we contemplate the implications of Earth's magnetic field disappearing, let's delve deeper into the technical innovations that could emerge in response to this unprecedented challenge. Scientists and engineers are already dreaming up ways to alter our relationship with both technology and nature. There's a burgeoning field focusing on the development of radiation-hardened structures, perhaps borrowing inspiration from the natural world. For instance, imagine buildings that mimic the core principles of the shells of certain sea creatures, capable of filtering harmful radiation while allowing natural light in, or even structures that adapt to changing environmental conditions in real time through advanced material science. Picture urban areas transforming into safeguarded sanctuaries, where thriving gardens coexist with solid barriers against radiation. Designers could integrate solar reflectors that diffuse dangerous solar rays while capturing sunlight for energy. The merging of technology and nature could create a new form of resilience, nurturing both human and ecological well-being. But it's not just about buildings. Our modes of transportation, too, would need massive overhauls. What if future cars came equipped with shielding technology that would protect passengers from elevated radiation levels? Imagine smart vehicles equipped with real-time data analytics, allowing them to constantly monitor solar radiation and provide alternative routes or safe zones when necessary. The way we navigate our world could become as technologically advanced as it is considerate of our fragile situation. Now, consider how our energy production methods might change. Solar energy, while incredibly abundant, becomes a double-edged sword when the sun's fierce rays aren't mitigated by our magnetic field. Could we develop solar technology that not only harnesses energy but also filters harmful radiation? Perhaps, research will lead to advancements in solar panels that come equipped with built-in radiation-reducing layers. By embracing such innovations, we'd be contributing to a new green energy paradigm, one that recognizes the tenuous balance between harnessing natural resources and safeguarding human health. Digging deeper, we need to examine the psychological and emotional elements of adaptation. Human beings are inherently designed to connect with one another. We are social creatures that thrive on interaction. In the aftermath of a crisis, mental health services would need to expand and adapt to help people navigate the strains of a changed world. Imagine programs that pair art therapy with science education, fostering resilience and creativity in facing uncertainty. What if radiation wellness centers emerged, where individuals could engage in mindfulness practices and learn coping techniques in a shared healing space? Communities can also harness the power of shared knowledge and resources more effectively than ever. Neighborhood networks could pop up, with locals coming together to share information about health tips, safe spaces, and innovative DIY solutions for shielding against radiation. Social cohesion would ebb and flow in new, transformative ways. Collaboration could bolster a renewed sense of purpose and hope, as citizens unite in proactive efforts to reconstruct their environment. At the same time, adaptability and innovation would extend to agriculture. Imagine vertical farms, lush greenery rising skyward, designed specifically to filter UV rays and adapt to fluctuating light patterns. Hydroponics and aeroponics could create resilient systems of food production that are less dependent on weather forecasts. By investing in these technologies, we'd be ensuring our food security while also minimizing the pressure on our ecosystems during this turbulent time. As we look outward, we can also envisage a potential renaissance in scientific understanding and exploration. Scientists might leap into action with a sense of urgency, launching initiatives to study radiation patterns and atmospheric shifts. What if space agencies collaborated to create a global monitoring network? This could provide real-time data regarding solar activity and its interactions with our atmosphere, allowing people to make informed choices about their daily activities, such as when to venture outdoors or engage in outdoor activities. An expanded curiosity for the cosmos could also arise. The survival of life on Earth would inspire scientists to take a closer look at other celestial bodies. Researchers might shift their efforts toward understanding how other planets, perhaps those closer to the Sun, handle high levels of radiation. The knowledge gained could be crucial for preparing our civilization for potential off-planet growth in the distant future, expanding the human footprint into the universe amid the challenges of life on Earth. In this whirlwind of change, one critical inquiry remains: how might global politics evolve? The crisis would undeniably exacerbate relationships between nations. With the risks posed by heightened radiation and shifting resources, countries might come together to form coalitions aimed at mutual cooperation. Can you envision a world where nations pool their scientific resources or collaborate on innovations? A united global effort could serve as a response not just to the crisis at hand, but as a model for future challenges that affect humanity's collective existence. However, it is also equally conceivable that fear might catalyze conflict. Scarcity of resources, refuge from danger, and competition for safety could lead to territorial disputes. How would societies navigate the tension between collaboration and conflict? The transformative aftermath of such shifts would test the resolve of our leadership, both locally and globally. As we grapple with these uncertainties, we must also remember the inherent strength of the human spirit. We've weathered deep crises before. In every upheaval, stories emerge of individuals and communities rising to the occasion, revealing acts of kindness and bravery against the backdrop of adversity. In the spirit of overcoming challenges, wouldn't it be uplifting to think of new narratives emerging, stories of individuals advocating for positive change within their communities, or scientists working across borders to develop technology that benefits the entire planet? As we reach the conclusion of our exploration, it's essential to take a step back and reflect on the heart of our journey. The threat posed by the sudden disappearance of Earth's magnetic shield uncovers profound questions about our relationship with nature and each other. It encourages us to hold the narrative of resilience, adaptability, and interconnectedness close to our hearts. This hypothetical scenario serves as a mirror to our reality, highlighting the fragility of the world we inhabit. What if we began to cultivate an appreciation for the protection our magnetic field currently provides? What if we focus more on the collective stewardship of our planet? The lessons gleaned from imagining such chaos might inspire us to take preventive measures against other environmental challenges we face: climate change, habitat destruction, and biodiversity loss. Ultimately, we are reminded that while the future remains uncertain, how we respond to that uncertainty is where our true strength lies. As we face potentially daunting challenges, it's not merely about survival, it's about creativity, collaboration, and compassion. It's also about fostering a shared vision of a resilient future where hope and humanity persist amid the storms. As we conclude this thought-provoking journey, perhaps we can embrace a sense of serenity, confident that within us lies an inherent capacity to adapt and innovate. And as we go forward, let each challenge remind us of our vulnerability, yes, but also of our capability to rise, to create, and to thrive against all odds. Thank you for exploring this extraordinary scenario with me. Together, let's find hope in uncertainty and strength in each other as we step into the future, whatever it may hold.